eat sugary cereals all the time.
I have a huge, gigantic cereal container of Captain Crunch right the fuck now, and I do the mix myself. Like I get the all berries,
and then you get the
regular because they don't do it right when you get them together. The cameras do have like a 29-minute record limit, so there will be like a switch to just like hit the cameras.
Cool.
An intermission.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
You ready for it?
Yeah.
Sure. What is up, and welcome to another episode of the Miseducation of Music. You are here with J-Treb as always, but today I got a special guest in the building, man. I have not only the rapper, not only the Sprite enthusiast, not only the leading authority on all things Chingy, bro, but I got somebody who I've wanted in the building for a while. I got Ausar in the building today, man. We're going to chop it up, man. Say what's up to the people.
What's going on, y'all?
Hey, man, look, I'm so glad we got this episode down, man. I'm so excited for this because I got so many questions I wanted to ask you, being a fan of your music for this long. So I got to just dive in, man. Like,
for sure.
I tell everybody my first exposure. My first exposure was Excuses, man. And I've been a fan of that track ever since, bro. That was circulating around my campus around, like, I want to say, like, 2017-ish. I feel like that's when people were putting me on, bro. And that track was so good, man. So, look. Let's just start off, man. How did you get started in music?
Wow, that's a loaded question.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, bro, I think I started... music has always been something that's been around me. Like, even as a shorty, my mom's lead singer of the choir, had me in children's choirs. She would bring me up, sing with her.
Oh, so you was going to do this no matter what, in some fashion.
In some fashion. Like, I remember I got bored when I was, like, 6 or 7, and... for some reason, me being bored equated to I'm finna go write a song.
Man, so you picked up the pen like that early and remember it.
Yeah,
man.
I remember. I only remember that because I remember my mom was so surprised when I told her I wrote it, and she was just like, "You did that just now?"
She's like, "Wait, you sat down."
Yeah.
You put all those words together. And was it like a little simple rap, or was it like a...
Yeah, it was something like literally. I think what was happening was she was watching a sermon or something on TV. I was like, I'm not finna sit and watch this.
I can do something else right now with my time.
Because I think we had literally just gotten out of church earlier. So I was like...
Man, it was like, we ain't double churching today. I'm going to find something else to do.
I was never a fan of double church.
I feel you, man. Hey, look, I come from... My OGs are Kojic, so long church was a thing.
The morning service and then
morning. Then you got the break for the children's church. And then, man, it was just the whole day. Like, we was in there till 5. Like
literally. So remember, I just walked away and, you know what I'm saying, I wrote about kind of what I had just heard a little bit. And it was very short to the point, but, like, she was just like, this is really, really cool.
Like, you might be able to do something.
Yeah.
Did that kind of put a bug in you at that point to, like, want to create more like that? Or was it, like, it lay dormant for a while afterward?
Yeah, no. I did it that one time and literally didn't revisit it until my mother got married. And my older brother, Nick was like my hero growing up. When I was a shorty, like I really looked up to Nick.
That's what's up.
And Nick loved rap. He loved listening to instrumentals. And I remember, you know what I'm saying? I took his MP3 and there were just all these instrumentals on it. And I remember like a day or two later, he was just like, "What do you like to listen to?" I'm like, "Oh, I like to listen to instrumentals," because I knew that's what he was listening to. And so when we would get bored, me and my older brothers, we would sit in the basement. We would just sit and write to see who come up with the best verse. That's how it started. Eventually, it was just like, I'm doing this on my own because I actually enjoy this. Like, this is fun.
Damn, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Now, hearing that you had that like influence on all those instrumentals kind of makes sense because I heard in another interview that you did that you started off as a producer.
I did.
So how'd you get there, and what was that like? What was the producer name as well? I'd love to know. Were you just going by your regular name? Come on, I gotta know, bro. What was you going by back in the day?
I'm only going to tell you this because it's you.
Hey, man, shout out. This is Miseducation exclusive.
My producer name. So Nick used to call me Ace. Like Ace is my nickname amongst my older brothers. All of them call me Ace. So my producer name was Ace Beats when I used to make beats.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah. But it started very similarly. Like, remember I would sit with Nick and a lot of times listening to beats and I'd be like, I wish I could make something like this. And my aunt, she grabbed me an iPad for like my 13th or 14th birthday.
Oh man, so the world was getting unlocked. You had these curiosities, bro. Like this is right when iPads was finally, a viable tool.
Yeah. And so she had grabbed it, and I remember I was just like, I'm just gonna search the app store and see if there's anything that I can do on my iPad to make it. There was a app literally called Beatmaker.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about,
you
bro.
You feel me? And I grabbed that, and it's literally like an MPC on your iPad.
Yeah, it's like a drum machine almost, but just touchscreen on the iPad.
Yeah, literally, and you can upload your own samples. You can cut them in and
just get your loops together.
And, yeah, all of that. It comes with preloaded drums. You can buy packs. So I was just doing that, and I ended up getting pretty decent at it.
Hey, so were these iPad beats like something you'd actually like? I guess like start rapping on, or were you trying to pass these on to other people at this point, or is this just for like the love of it at this time?
All of that. It was
okay. So everything, you literally every section.
So when I first started, it was just something that was cool to me. I was just like, wow, I'm really producing. I'm showing Nick, and
it's
he was just
bro, this song, all me.
You know what I'm saying? Like I did this, and I remember when I first started, every single day I at least made one beat. And I would show Nick every day when he came home from work.
He was on the Kanye grind. He was on that 5 beats a day for 3 songs.
Every day. And I would show Nick every day when he got home from work. Like, this is what I made today. This is what I made today. This is what I made today. And it started as like, hey, this is good. Keep going. Hey, this is good. Keep going. And then eventually it was just like, this is really good.
Hey, but hold up. That one might be something. I can hear a rapper on that.
Like, yeah.
That's what's up, man. It seems like you had a lot of family encouragement around you.
For sure.
Well, I mean, they also weren't faking the funk, though. It seems like when something's really good, there was a distinction. It was like, oh, no, that's the one right there.
Exactly. They didn't sugarcoat neither, because if it wasn't it, they would let you know.
Man, that's what's up. Now that production, now we're up to there. Now the switch to the reason why you're even here on the episode today, you became a rapper. So you're producing. What time is this up until? And then when was that first like, well, I guess I'm going to be the one on top of these beats now?
For sure. I think it happened when I got to college. Like I was producing stuff. I was never really rapping on the stuff I produced until I got to college. I joined an organization called Word.
Hey, shout out.
Word. Word stands for Writers Organizing Realistic Dialect.
Okay.
Yeah, you feel me?
That's what's up. That's a really cool acronym.
Shout out to Abril and Kenny for founding that gem of an org. But long story short, I got there. They have semesterly concerts. Mm-hmm. And I came in as a producer, and I just wanted to give people beats. I was just like, this stuff I'm doing. But they had writing workshops, and I remember I participated, and everybody was surprised because they were just like, "You like are really good." Mm-hmm. Which
like, why don't you put these two things together?
Exactly. And that first semester that I joined, I remember I just for the heck of it, I auditioned to be a part of it, and I rapped over one of my own beats. I actually rapped and sang over it. And at the end of it, everybody was just like, nah, you should really take this a lot more seriously.
Man, that's what's up. So once again, you're getting that good feedback that kind of puts you in position, yo. That's so dope, man. Now, you produce, they tell you, yo, you rapping on these beats, that's where you need to be. What are the early inspirations for your pen at this time when you actually, are these first raps that are coming out? Like, what are these rappers that you're listening to? Is it Chingy? Is that an early
inspiration? But no, outside of Chingy. So because I grew up in a very traditionally Christian household, like I was not even allowed to listen to rap growing up.
Man,
that was kind of taboo, and if I was, it was like gospel rap. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's all I was able to listen to.
A little revolution,
You feel me? But what ended up happening was I was listening to stuff that my older brothers were listening to.
Okay, so that's how you got through the barrier. If he listened to it, then it must be okay for me to. Okay.
Well, not even it's okay to, but if I know what y'all are listening to, it's nothing for me to go through your iPod and then be like, let me go put this on my personal.
Let me grab that LimeWire file from your computer.
Exactly. Yeah. And so my earliest inspirations were like Common, Talib Kweli, Ye. My dad had just given me an MP3 at the time, and there was a lot of stuff that he had put on there too. So it was like Tribe Called Quest, D'Angelo, Lauryn Hill. What else was on there, bro? It was just this real melting pot of heavy lyricist and like
I was about to say, it's
era.
a lot of consciousness in here.
Yeah.
Like, it makes a lot of sense for even the way you like structure your rhymes and the words you use. Like, bro, I swear to God, I gotta use a thesaurus for some of these tracks because it's just the lyrics you go in. But when I hear somebody saying, you know, Talib Kweli, like, it's like, oh no, it makes sense. Like, you got some real lyricists and some heavy hitters on that early inspiration list. Now, I mean, that kind of gets us right into excuses. Like, you said, comment on that list as well. That beat, man, like, how did that all happen? Because, I mean, that track dropped, and you've said it numerous times that, like, that was one of your highest streamed tracks for a while.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, like, how does that feel to get that feedback that early? Because, like, you using all that inspiration, you get your beat finally. What did that feel like?
To be honest with you, even the current date is still kind of weird. Like, that was the first song I ever drew. Technically my second, but really the first song I ever dropped.
Technically the second, so then what was the first one?
I
that Lost to Time, or?
Yeah, you can't find it.
Was it a different rap name?
Nah, it's just scrubbed from the internet. But nah, I think the first one I ever did was I think I did a remix to All Right by Kendrick first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's hard out the gate.
Yeah. But the beat I used, which was The Questions by Common is my favorite rapper. Always has been. And so I always have been in love with that beat. And once I decided that I was making music, I was just like, okay, this one feels like home. Let's do this.
It's like, man, this Chicago, I got the words for it. Yeah. I can go crazy. You threw the singing in there. It's the first track, and you already was showing so much of what you've grown in, you know, mastering in your craft. So that's just so dope just to see, man. Like, the response of it all, was it ever overwhelming at a time? Like, did it ever kind of like have you in a place where you were like, oh shit, I gotta top my first one already?
I mean, I was mad, to be honest with you. I was mad because, so coming into music, not knowing how all of this works, seeing a track start bubbling like that, I'm like, all right, somebody's messing with me.
It's like, bro, y'all paying for bots and some shit.
Who's paying for streams to me? Like,
who is out here trying to gas me up?
Literally, I was like, how is this happening? I spent time, I'm talking about hours figuring out, okay, how is this happening? Like,
looking at the follower list, like, are these a real account?
I'm clicking on every single one of them. Like, who are you people?
Bro, that's wild. So it's more disbelief than anything.
No, for sure. And what I found out was Angels, Chance the Rapper. When that dropped, SoundCloud has related plays.
And it was just right back and forth.
The algorithm.
I mean, yeah, that's Chicago to Chicago.
Exactly.
Like, man, that's what's up though. Like, for the SoundCloud algorithm to even like do that. And then people obviously stayed. I mean, like, the streams go up daily. Like, it's one of those tracks where I know I'm giving you streams, so somebody else is definitely still listening. Yeah. So I mean, like, that disbelief is definitely an interesting area. I don't know if I've ever heard any artist kind of like talk about that kind of side of it, because it has to be crazy to have your phone blow up off your first track that you just dropped and gave to the world.
I mean, you also got to look at it like this, bro. Like, these are songs you making in the comfort of your own room. At the time, I have no scope of what my audience looks like. Like, I have nothing to pull from.
It's like, I didn't even know what my demographic was yet. I just knew I wanted some niggas from the city to peep.
You feel me? I hope y'all like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to look up and see that was the reaction. It's like, I don't know what to do from here. That's what I had.
I do not know what to do next, man. Yeah. Look, and next is like, I mean, from there, you grew crazy. Like, I mean, like, now I feel like I can't go anywhere without, you know, hearing your name brought up in the same breath as music in Chicago right now, which is really dope just to see, like, how you've just taken it to another level. I do want to ask, though, like, right now we're sitting in Feature Form Studios. This is the home studio. This is where I always see you recording at, bro. Shout out Romar Salas, man. He is one of the dopest engineers in the city. And then on top of that, like, for y'all two to become a team. Like, because I want to ask, and this is all leading to my next question, how was that first track recorded? And then how does that compare now to the amazing work and the recording and how you all lay it all out now?
So you want me to tell the full story?
Yeah, I mean, we don't need the full story. It could be the abridged one, but it's like, what was that first setup? And then what does it look like now for you to record?
So that, this is actually really funny. That song that I recorded was actually recorded by a guy named Rick Field. Sure. I met Rick Field in my calculus class at U of I. He was just like, oh, I make music. I was like, I do too. He was like, where? Did you come see my studio? We were recording at his crib. And he mixed he mixed my did Rick mix? Yeah, there's a project that none of you know the name of that I'll never talk about.
Man,
that he mixed.
Those are the ones that I want to know about now.
off screen, I'll tell you.
Definitely.
But I recorded that with him. What ended up happening was with that project, I had used some beats from this guy who did not know who I was at all. I just took them from my homie Josie.
Oh yeah, I can see where the story's going already.
Yeah. Josie was like the first person to kind of take me under his wing when I got to college.
Shout out to Josie, man.
Yeah.
If y'all don't know,
Josie
man,
Green.
that's what I'm saying. Y'all need to peep some of that music over there. It's another cold rapper.
Yeah, bro, the coldest. But nah, I would kick it with Josie daily, and I'd be playing them beats and stuff, and he'd be like, yeah, that's dope. Listen to these, though. He'd be playing, and I'm like, who is this? Like, where did these come from? And are you using these?
And are you using them?
And some of the joints, like the joints that he would pass up, he'd just be like, no, I'm not. Like, take these, do what you do. And that was most of that first project. What's crazy is Josie didn't even tell the guy who produced these, like, hey, I let somebody else have
I gave them your beat,
yeah.
and you didn't even get to clear it with them.
You feel me? So when the project was done, Josie shot it over the road. It was just like, hey,
here's your beats with a rapper on them. Hope you like it.
Literally. Like what he told him was, this is somebody who I've been rocking with, who I believe in. Like, check him out. And Ro basically was like, I mean, if you believe in him, then I'm rocking with him too. And that's how the relationship started.
Bro, that is crazy that is how this, like, and I mean, like, don't take the wrong way, like, three-headed monster of you all. Like, bro, there was a time period where it was like all the tracks, bro. Like, I mean, I was in it on the Random Wednesday tips back when, like, bro, like hearing Shy Atkins pop up on track.
Yep.
Y'all was going crazy, G. Like, bro, and that's how that came together. Like,
yeah, that's how everything started. And really, I say this all the time about music in general, and what I am so grateful for as it pertains to music is music really bought me a family, like a family outside of my family.
Like that family you get to pick.
Exactly. And with like Josie, Ro, with Shaw, all of them, like these are people who are my brothers, like blood brothers. Like this is family. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's really how we've been able to build everything we've done to current date. It's like we come in here and we do what we do because we love it and because we genuinely enjoy working with each other. You know what I'm saying? There's no ego in the room. We just want to make the best stuff.
Just gotta make the best music possible. And I mean, look, you all do that, like each of you individually, and then when it comes together, you can tell from the start because all of you operate on such a high level and you're so like just great in the game, bro. Like, so thank you all just for that art. And bro, like that story was so great just to hear how that all came together, man. Now, I do want to know, like, what was it like? Because I mean, you still record with Ro till this day. So what is it about it that, you know, made that recording, you know, a process that you need to keep in your art form today?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, that's my brother. But like, in addition to that, there's a chemistry there that I don't have with nobody else, and I'm never going to have nobody else.
Yeah, is it like that, almost like a separate language? Like if I need something on a track, it's like it's almost you don't even have to say it yet.
There are literally times where we are in rooms, and Ro will look up or I'll look up, and we'll just look at each other and be like, "Yeah,
yep,"
and then like, he'll go back to doing what
whole
he's doing.
conversation. Like I know exactly what to do. That's like, so dope.
If you can ask anybody who sat in a session with us before, like I'll be writing, he'll be working, producing, or mixing, or doing additional instrumentation or whatever, and there'll just be a moment where like we'll just make eye contact. Like nothing needs to be said.
It's like we don't even need to say it. We know it's about to go down.
Yeah.
That's so dope, man. That's got to be so helpful inside of your creating process. I feel like that allows you as an artist to kind of give up a section to something that you trust, and especially in a person that you trust.
For sure. And I also think like we've helped each other grow. Like coming into music, since I've started music, really, like I've been with Ro. You know what I'm saying? He's seen my progression from ground level up.
Yeah, it's like if anybody knows my rap,
it's Ro. You know what I'm saying? Like same goes with Josie as well, because they've been there from the inception. And I think what we've built, you can't duplicate, you can't replicate it. I can't go nowhere else. And,
It's like we couldn't even do this twice.
you know what I'm saying? Like this is just where I need to be at.
Man, that's so dope. Now, I do want to dive into the weeds here. I do like to get into the creative mind. So we got to ask about what is a recording session? Do you write at home? Do you get the beat first? Do you come into the studio, let it all happen? What is it like to write an Ausar track?
Correct.
Top to bottom.
Absolutely.
Top to bottom.
Yes.
Everything? Anyway?
Everything.
Man.
No, it varies day to day, to be honest with you. Like
no one structured process?
Not for real. Sometimes during this album process, I think it's been a lot more structured. But there have been sessions where I come in and I'm just like, I just want to make something new.
And you all just try some whole new stuff, even though you might have like, oh, well, yeah, we do got to finish that track. But,
yes.
And then you'll just take the day to be like, we got to be creative in the studio. Do you think that being that kind of like quick and loose with the mentality of it helps? Like, or do you think you like will find a structure in some manner?
It's a balance. You got to know when, like, I think you just kind of have to go off how you feel. Mm-hmm. If you know you in a place where you fluid and things are moving and you inspired, come in and utilize that.
Man, okay.
Do everything in the moment as you feel it. If you know you got tracks that you need to work on, you got a deadline. It's like
okay, we gotta get that time right for those.
Let's get this done. I think, like, going back to your question, there have been times where I've come in and I've already had my stuff pre-written. Come in, just go in the booth and record. We do post-production, do a little bit of mixing. There are times where I come in and all we're doing is mixing. There are times when we come in and we're just listening to drafts, and it's like, let's see what's missing.
Yeah, it's almost just like a find session. Like, let's find the little pieces we need for all of these other tracks. Mm-hmm. That's really dope, man. And I mean, that's like a really fluid setup. I feel like a lot of people, when I ask that question, they have like a super like, oh yeah, no, the studio time's an hour. So I was writing at the crib and we only been in here for an hour. But it seems like you really do just enjoy to not pressure your pen space. It's like, it's just gonna happen when it happens.
I mean, we stopped it. The way that we set up sessions even allots for that time. Like when I book for 6 hours at a time.
Oh man, that's a sizable portion of a day.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm here for the day. Mm-hmm. Just on some. In order to do what we do, you can't book a 1 or 2 hours. That's super unrealistic.
Super limiting.
Like in an hour, me and Ro have a check-in. So,
it's like, man, we was just catching up about everything but music for that first hour.
Which is also essential to the process.
Like, I believe that it is. Like, I think that getting that out definitely puts everybody at least on the same vibe, you know? Like, so everybody just knows what everybody's day was like a little bit.
Yeah. Legit. And so it all of that is conducive. Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the words, the actual words used, as I said, man, I have had to look up words in your raps before, which I consider that to be a compliment, man, because, like, I love the words. But, like, how do you come up with those? Do you, like, challenge yourself to fit a word into a bar? Like, I mean, for example, I was listening to Resolve on the way over here. There's a part in there where you say circumstance, supplicate. Like, there's just like a tear where you're just going through so many words where I'm like, did somebody bet him he couldn't get these words in the bar? Because everyone makes sense and they all hit so well, and you can flow these like more elaborate words and, you know, deeper synonyms for what everybody might be talking about into your rap. So how do you pick those words? How do you get in there?
I think when I first started, it was kind of a challenge to myself where it was just like, I know all these big words, and I want everybody to know. I know
everybody got to know I have a good dictionary, bro.
Yeah, but I think as time went by and I started to fine tune what it is I do, it's like, all right, the goal is for these words to cut through and for there to be impact. So like, how do I do it in a way where I am, because vocabulary is a tool inside the tool belt.
Oh, definitely. Like 100%. It adds to the art that you're creating. Like, I mean, adding that extra word might make that bar that might have went over somebody's head. Like, if I got to go back and look the word up, I'm going to remember the bar forever now. Yeah. You know, so that's really cool.
But it's about the balance, though. And I think what I try to do now is like, all right, how do I make the most out of the 16 that I have? Like, let me be very intentional about how I choose these words. There are a lot of times where, there are even times where, like, I'll be in a rhyme scheme and I'm like, I know this word, I don't really know what it means, so let me go look it up.
Let me look it up before I put it in here. But I heard somebody say this shit before.
Yeah, like I have a general idea what this means. Let me go look it up. And if it fits with what I'm trying to say, I'm like, all right, how do I just structure around it? If not, get rid of it. Using words, just use them.
Okay. So it's not just to use. I mean, look, I've never heard you waste one. I mean, I heard you use circumference in a bar, and it like you made it all make sense. So it's like, bro, it's like if you got to actually get into using the words, like I assume that you're not just throwing them in there for fun and games.
Legit.
That's what's up, man. From a kid who grew up in the Sprite era where, like, bro, Drake was on Sprite. Like, everybody you saw on Sprite, it was up next. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It was, bro, so, like, that had to feel so dope and rewarding.
Shout out to the Sprite Way program. It's amazing. Basically,
shout out.
Yeah. What they do is they take unsigned talent across the globe, and whoever they think is dope, they're just like, we're going to put our resources behind you for a year and just see what happens.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. And it's funny because we had been going back and forth for like a month because I had made it to the final rounds, blah, blah, blah. And then the day that I got the email that like, yo, you are going to be one of the Sprite Way artists, I was at work. I was in the work truck, actually, reading my email while driving. I was in the car by myself. Don't text and drive. But I saw that. I literally detoured off the route and drove straight to my parents' house in the work car.
Oh, man, I would have too, though.
Like,
I might have drove straight to the studio. I might have been like, bro, who cares?
Yeah, I detoured, went straight to their crib. I knew they work from home. So I was just like, hey, what y'all doing? Cool, come sit down, let me talk to you.
It's like, look, it's over. Mama, we made it.
You really, like, it was just one of those really, really dope moments that it's not often, there's a generational gap a lot of times in music, and a lot of times the stuff that is pivotal to your career, your parents may not understand just because they not...
Because, like, they had different markers for what success was or celebrity was.
This is one of those few times where I was just like, no, y'all know this is success. Y'all know this brand.
Y'all seen them. Yeah. You know Sprite. Everybody knows Sprite.
So, that felt like such an amazing moment for me, just for them to be able to experience what I was experiencing and to feel that same joy.
That's really dope, and like to be able to share that with your OGs just had to be a moment. Like, I mean, like, and aside from sharing it with your OGs, like the reception that you got from the public, I mean, at least from my viewpoint, it seemed like everybody was like, bro, like, this is so awesome. Like, it feels like a win for the city when we see our artists win around here. So it was so dope, man. I definitely want to give you your props just for doing that, for getting that opportunity, for being as dope as you are to, deserve it, man.
Thank you.
Now, with the Sprite deal and everything and all of these other things that are happening, like, what is something that you do, and I ask this question to every artist, what is something that you do to keep up with your creativity? So you said you have these 6-hour sessions, you're working on deadlines, you also got these contests you enter, you were working a job at the time. Like, what are the things that you do to make sure that, you have enough creativity to fulfill these projects, to get those tracks out?
I think it differs now than it did when I first started. I think it differs every year and based off of what space I'm in, to be completely honest with you. Because art is very reflective of who you are as a person. As you grow and evolve, your art changes, your process changes. I think right now I'm just understanding that I am a human being with limitations.
Interesting.
Like,
it's kind of like a reverse of like a Superman complex.
Yeah. Like, I think I'll say this, and this is not to brag, but it's to show kind of the progression where, like, during the time where I got the Sprite deal, I was working 2 jobs. One is a teacher. Well, both of them were basically teaching jobs. But one of them was basically like I worked from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. with a gap in between. And in that gap in between, I was usually teaching at another school.
Man, so there was no free time while you're also rapping the entire time.
And I would get home from work, and usually I was up until at least 12.
Oh, so you was only getting 6 hours sleep. Man, that's wild. That's wild. So during that time period, what was the thing you had to do to kind of like keep your creativity, to keep the sanity, I guess?
Music was what I was doing to keep the sanity.
So you had to like use it as, you have to use something that could also bring creative stress as a de-stressor for your other stresses.
It's crazy because at the time it wasn't stressful. Like this was my outlet. It was just like, if I can't do this, I'm going to lose my mind.
Okay, so like putting everything on it was like, this is the thing. So everything else, it's justified by this one.
Yeah. Now I'm not in that situation anymore. I do work to a lesser extent, just to make sure the bills are paid. But I think now, because we have built and amassed this following and this expectation and everything else, it's like, all right, I have to walk away when I know I'm getting overwhelmed, because I know I care about this so much that I will overwhelm myself just thinking about all the intricacies.
Like, I will keep going in. Like, there's no stopping myself sometimes.
Yeah.
Man, that's interesting. I see how that plays into, understanding that you have these limitations. So you don't run yourself dry, or you don't like replace the 2 jobs you were doing in the day with this now. Cause it's like, you don't want this to have any resentment like with it.
Yeah. Like even now, just being completely, cause I think transparency and vulnerability is important. You know what I'm saying? Like, right now, I'm at the end of my album, like finishing it.
Oh man, you know who's gonna talk about that. The city has questions. If I didn't ask, I know somebody would in the comments.
Indeed.
But what is it like at the end of the project here? I mean, at the end of tying the knot on this project, I'm sure you used loads of your creativity. I mean, we had the conversation in the studio beforehand where everybody was just like, "Yeah, we have been doing a lot of projects. There's a lot going on." Yeah,
bro. And creatively at this point, like, burnt out.
You have to take that vacation when you drop.
Yeah, legit. And now, mind you, the output of what we've been doing over this past year has been insane.
Yeah.
This is the most music I've ever made.
You've been in here a lot.
My goodness. But I'm at a point now where, like, creatively I'm burnt out. I'm still exerting the same amount of work just on the business side of things and getting ready for rollout and connecting with everybody we need to make sure everything looks right. But, like, it's about knowing that switch. I think a lot of times, in times past, I've been like, if I'm not writing every day, like, I'm wasting the talent.
Yeah, so it's like, don't turn off. It's like every second could be an opportunity to make something. And it's like, I can just create when it's time to create.
Yeah, because that's important. If you just writing just to write, eventually, like, it should come from a place of realness. And if you forcing it, then that's not real. Like,
yeah, you got to make sure that, like, when you're creating, it's coming from a place not where you're just like forcing yourself every moment. Because people hear that as well in the music. Now, man, I do want to talk about the new project that's on the horizon, man. Now, everybody's been in anticipation for this, man. Like, this has been talked in different stages, I want to say, because you tease the name of a project, man. Like, I feel like it's been in my head since around like Honeybee time. I feel like that's when we started, like, conversation just buzzing up about the album. No, not intentional joke with the buzzing and Honeybee. But what is it like, man? Can we get, like, just a few answers to some questions?
Let's
so, like, how many tracks are going to be on the project?
Either 13 or 14.
Okay, so full length. Thank you for that, man. I'm glad that we're getting back to the full length album. Now, on top of that, can you share any, people who are on production or people who are around for this album, maybe some reoccurring names we've heard you work with before or anything like that?
I can get y'all the producers.
Okay, yeah, man. Look, give us some producers for it.
No, the production on this album is incredible. We had all hands on deck. Ro executive produced the entire thing. We got production from Zay Sims, from Sway, from Hayes. Pelleman Jr. is on a couple of these, involved in different ways.
Shout out Pelleman Jr.
Yeah, we got who else do we have on here? We got Stoic. Stoic is on a couple of these joints.
Man. This is gonna be nice.
Yeah, and we got my homie Stoneface on production. We got Billy Blunt, D Noel. Like, this was an all hands on deck. Anybody who I haven't mentioned, let me think, because I want to make sure I'm getting Nico the Great as well. Is that everybody?
That's everybody.
It's not everybody.
Hey, look, if you weren't mentioned, it was charged to the head.
You're gonna be on
the
the credits.
That's what I'm saying. The credits are gonna be there, man. That's so awesome, G. Like, that's so many people, and it seems like you got, like, a good energy around that. I mean, some of those names that I'm hearing, I'm just like, yo, like, what is this project gonna sound like? I see why you're even going for 14 tracks. Like, you need that many producers.
Yeah,
bro,
and it tells
you're putting the whole city on there,
bro. And yes, and it tells a story. I think I'm so proud of this project because it tells my story. it conveys everything I wanted to. Sonically, it's vibrant. It has a whole lot of range. It shows my progression as an artist and as a person. Like, it sets out to do everything we've wanted to do, even from the last project that we scrapped, because we scrapped the whole album getting to this stage.
Man, that's another question I had. You had almost, how many tracks did you have recorded before this?
Before working on this album?
Before working on the current album that we're gonna get, how many tracks were scrapped for the previous album?
Very easily over 100.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. Are we gonna hear those 100 in different places? Like, are they still gonna get you? I mean, you said you and Rose sit down and listen to drafts, so I mean, there's a chance we might get these tracks too.
Yeah, probably not. Realistically, I'm trying to think. I think y'all may get one. Technically, it was during the transition period from when we were moving to the old project to the new one, but those
other 99, that's a different song. That's a different song.
Those ain't going nowhere.
Man, look, that's so dope. That's so crazy. Now, this is the last question I'm really gonna ask about the projects, and I don't want to dig in too deep as well as I don't even want to. I don't want people to go too crazy, kind of putting something in their head. I want them to listen to it, man. I want them to get that project and kind of put their own thing with it. But if someone were to, before they hit play, what's almost like a story or a feeling or an emotion that you want them to have while listening to the project? Like, where was it written from? Is this like, you need to be ready to sit down on my journey, or you need to be able to, dig to these dark places, or things of that nature? Like,
I think it's all of it. I think, so the name of the project is called INK. It stands for I Now Know.
Man, shout out to these acronyms, bro. Like, great acronyms.
Appreciate it. Yeah, the concept of the project deals with a lot of stuff. It deals with my own personal narrative, literally, which is why it's ink, because I'm writing it all out. Deals with the idea and concept of permanence, what that looks like. Everybody has a goal that they want to get to and attain.
That's another flip with ink there.
Exactly.
Man.
Exactly.
Man.
Yeah. And it's about understanding what permanence is. Like, is permanence in the goals that you're trying to attain? Is it in the people that are around you? Like, what does permanence look like? How do you leave a mark? It deals with confronting fear, understanding and knowing that, like, on the other side of the fear is the lessons you've learned, and those lessons are what is permanent, and that's how you continue to move forward as a person. Like, and all the while explaining my whole personal journey up until now.
Man.
Yeah.
I know I'm not a rapper because I don't even know how do you write that? How do you write that and put it into music? That's so beautiful, man. Now, look, I'm looking forward to this project on a crazy level, man. Just from the small clips I've heard, just coming in, at the end of your session, beginning of mine. I cannot wait for this project, man. And just with that knowledge, I can't wait to put my headphones on knowing that. Now, dude, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. Every single episode. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Let me talk.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem.
Long time coming. I appreciate you for having me. This is dope.
Super long time coming, man. I'm so glad you came on the show, G. Now, every single episode, I love to end with an outro track from the artist so that everybody out there listening can get a track that, you want to put them on to. So what's the track you want to put them, any of your tracks, man? What track you want to put them on to here?
Yeah, let's do Love Is, produced by Suede, featuring Byrie.
Man, shout out, man. Check out some Byrie after that, man. She goes crazy.
Indeed.
She goes crazy. Now, look, man, while that track is playing in the background, thank you all for tuning into the episode, man. Make sure you're sharing this podcast with your sister, your auntie, your baby mama, your cat, your dog, man. Play it for your house while it's settling, bro. This podcast is good for everything, man. But until next time, thank you for tuning in. Deuces.
I believe the family come first. Don't think I ever minded getting hurt. I would give all that I have to make sure that we all on one accord, that you secure.